This is Mark Beatty from Redline Oil. Mark, how's it going?
Doing really well. How are you all this evening?
It's been a long day, but it's going, and we got one more session left. I've learned a lot. Stimulus overloads. There's a lot of great information that came out, and some stuff I learn every time I do one of these summits, and I think it's fantastic. I hope I'm able to pull out enough useful information for drifters on the call. It's my first drift summit.
Right.
You live, you learn, and have you been attending the whole time?
Yeah, I've been listening for a long time, and it's really fun to hear, and it's amazing what we all learn, right? Because I kind of learn things too as you listen to other folks and see what they have going on. So you're never too old to learn, or you're never too smart to hear and see different and how things are done. So it's a great show. It's a tough show, like you said. At Redline, we're one of the brands that we're involved from everything from bass fishing. That's tough to say this late at night, to snowmobile racing, to a lot of power sport stuff, supercross, arena cross, and then in the motorsport side of things, everything from the NHRA to a lot of stock car, NASCAR type of stuff, and a lot of drift stuff. So for us, I get what you're saying, because it is pretty tough when you try and take all that you do and fine tune it down into one segment, right? And so one segment like the drift segment, I get it. It's a challenge, but I think overall, what you're trying to share with people, what you're trying to teach people, it applies no matter what, right? Because you might be drift racing now, but who knows what you're doing next and stuff. So I think it applies to everything.
Has Redline been in drifting long? I'm
Yeah,
relatively new to drifting, and I think most of the attendees here realize that. My members know that.
yeah.
I come from a off-road background and general motorsports with Lucas out of Circle Track and NHRA. I've been to a couple of drift events. I was at Formula Drift last year, but I'm not an expert by any means on drifting. I'm looking to draw out those experts. How long has Redline been involved in drifting?
We've been associated one way or another with drift teams and drivers for probably 5 years now. So,
Okay.
as a brand, we're relatively new as well, but it's kind of, in some of the stuff we're like one step removed, right? So because as a brand, we really focus on getting our products in retail locations and shops and that type of stuff. And so our customers, we have a lot of customers that have been in the drift space for a long time, that have used our products and sold our products and stuff, but we've always kind of been one step removed from that. So yeah, I guess directly we're a little new in that space, and I'm like you. I've been the brand director there now for a little over 3 year about 3 years, I should say. And I have a huge motorsports background, lots of different things, but a little new to drifting
Are you
and
looking for
stuff.
more drifters to sponsor?
We're always looking for the right people, and the drift crowd is, I really, really enjoy them. I've gone
Yeah.
to a few of the events. We've got, a guy by the name of Kevin and his wife Gabby that have a company called Renspec, and they're probably our pilot on drift events and drift racing and stuff. And he's like pro am, and I've gone to some events with him, and he's even taken me for a ride in their car. And oh my gosh, I mean, talk about getting hooked instantly. If you haven't gone for a ride, and when they get out on the track, and obviously it was just a practice session, but there's three of them side by side doing their deal. Alex, I'm telling you, go for a ride. And then all of a sudden it's just like the respect level and the enthusiasm for drifting amplifies significantly. It's an art. It's
I
it's it's
find that
phenomenal.
in all motorsports. Yeah, in
Yeah,
all motorsports is that way. You put someone into a pro two truck ride and drive or a ride
yeah,
along, you put someone in an Indy car, you put them in
yeah.
a drift car. I mean, yeah, it's pretty exciting. It really is. So,
You know, and
so
I and go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if you are looking for more teams, what is it that you're looking for? What could the drivers on the call do to learn from this session on how best to approach any brand, and then also more specifically Redline?
Well, let me speak from my standpoint. My standpoint, I learned really early in my business career and in my racing career a saying that I use to this very day, and that's the fact that I do business with those that do business with me
Yeah.
and stuff. So, as everybody's talked on this call, we all get hundreds or thousands of opportunities sent our way every single year. And the first test for me is I find the people that are actually using our product. Because
Mhm.
if there's a person that's gone out there and they've made the investment to buy Redline oil, they've been using Redline oil, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, so you've been doing business with me, so now it's my turn to look at trying to do some business with you. How can I help you? How can I do things and stuff like that? Because the biggest thing that bothers me when I get a lot of those proposals, and I try and pay attention to every single one that I get, but you find that team or you find that driver where if you look back in their history, it's in my case, it's like 1 year I see a Motul decal on their car, and then the next year I see a liquid moly decal on the car, and then all of a sudden they're asking me for help, and it's just like, in some situations in life, next man up is a good thing. But if you're looking for sponsorship, especially from an oil company, I'm sorry, I have no interest in being the next man up,
Yeah.
and stuff. What a lot of racers don't understand is that it cheapens them as a brand, and it cheapens me as a brand if I jump in on that. I don't want to be the next man up. What I want to be is something that's significant and part of a race team or a racer that's been involved with us for years. So first and foremost, I just and I tell folks, my background is I come at this from the other side. I mean, I was involved in racing my entire life, and so I've sent out proposals. I've had to do that to try and get manufacturers to help me and stuff. So I understand what they're doing, because I had to do it way longer than what I've been on this side of the fence. But I also did it in the way that I believed. It's like, we had businesses that we had relationships with people that manufactured X, Y, or Z. And those are the people that I went and talked to because we're already doing business with them, right? Because flying blind is pretty tough. So that's
Yeah.
my number one. I look for folks that have invested in us and use Redline oil, and I quiz them about it and find out that they really are. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, you got my attention. Let's talk.
Yeah, and I think that's important. I think that probably speaks for all brands on the call. Is Joe at Slime always says that Slime's part of the ITW group. Know our brands first before you call us. Let's say someone does use Redline oil and they've been using it for quite a while, and they do business with you, and now they want you to do business with them. What does that look like? What does a sponsorship from Redline oil look like?
Well, we have multiple levels. I mean, we usually start the majority of folks off on a product discount side of things, and we have a couple of steps in a product discount side of things. And so we'll start with one of those, and it gives us the opportunity to test waters together, and figure out what are they like and how are they, I mean, you can read a lot of things in proposals, and you can see a lot of things on social media, but it's different when you're having that one-on-one relationship with people. So I like to start slow and see what that relationship is, and build it from there. And then ultimately, we end up with a handful of teams that will end up with a no charge program from us and stuff. But you're gonna work for that, because uh, like Andrew, a couple of the other guys were saying, no charge isn't free to me. There's a hard cost associated
Yeah.
with that to me and stuff. So I'm no different than anybody else. I have to justify that up the ladder, up the corporate ladder. I have lots and lots and lots of corporate bosses. So, you have to make sure that you're doing the right thing and stuff. And so, from our standpoint at Redline Oil, we don't necessarily offer any monetary sponsorships. It's just simply one of the things that we don't do. It's not in our wheelhouse and stuff. So, that kind of, there are those folks like other people have talked, and that I get it. Race cars, they run on cubic dollars. I get it. All forms of racing does, including drift. And so you have those racers out there that's really the only thing they need is money. And it's just one of the things that we just elect not to do it that way. We would rather spend our money promoting the series or spending it with the series where all racers benefit than with an individual racer.
Well, I personally think that an endemic brand, one like Redline Oil, that's endemic to the industry, or even tire companies, and any aftermarket parts company, they're saving a driver money by sponsoring that person. And a penny saved is a penny earned. So the endemic brands can purchase sponsorships through product and nice discounts to get started. But the non-endemics, let's say M&M or a beverage company, they're not going to make you drive faster, and you don't need more energy drinks in order to win a race. So they have to pay.
Yeah.
Drivers should look for the money from the non-endemics, the Doritos, the Monsters, the Slim Jims, and the clothing companies, perhaps. Maybe not the race suit companies like Sparco, but the Vans and Levi. But the money comes from the non-endemics, the parts come from the endemics. So that being said, if I'm looking for some sponsorship from Redline Oil, what's the process? What's your decision-making process? Is there a fiscal year? Is there a time frame? Who do I approach? How do I do it? I want to show you that I'm eligible, and I think I'm going to do a great job representing the brand. And all I need is some oil because you'll save me money. What do I do next?
Well, what I do is on our website, redlineoil.com, at the very bottom of the website, there's a button down there for sponsorships. And so I open up the sponsorship September 1st of every year, and it's open till October 31st. So I close it basically on Halloween. So to get things started, go to our website when it's open, and we've got a form, and fill out a form. And so that puts you then on my radar screen. And I make everybody do that. I make everybody do it every single year. It's like if you're in one year, it doesn't carry over to the next, because to me, it's like I try and be equitable and ethical. And so it's like, no, I'm going to make everybody do the exact same thing. And so, and if they're not willing to go to our website and do that, to me, then maybe the sponsorship's really not that important to them, right? So go invest 15 minutes, apply online. Once you apply online, you're required to give me all your social media links, and that's where I spend. Oh my gosh, that's how I spend my entire November and December, is every single night sitting in front of my computer and just looking through each and every one of them. This year we have about 500 race teams that are on Team Redline Oil.
Wow.
So we
Wow.
we help a lot of folks and stuff, everything from the grassroots all the way up to the biggest names, in some of the sports and stuff, and even the big guys, they have to go on and
500.
reapply every single year and stuff. So that's the first thing to do, and then obviously it's a matter of I'll look through everybody's social media, I look at the pictures that you send me, and I look at things like that. If I have any questions on things, oh, you'll definitely hear from me. I'll send you an email. I'll make a phone call. To me, it's one of those ones where, especially when I look at social media, y- I don't necessarily care how many followers a person has, but I care about the content, because another one of my favorite sayings is "real knows real." Okay,
Yeah.
you can
Real
you
knows
can
real.
tell by looking at social media a real racer that is really focused on their racing, right? I mean, we see it all the time. You can see the person that races and just kind of does whatever, and you look at their social media, and it kind of wanders all over the place. And then you look at a real racer's social media page, and there's a difference, and real knows real. And that's, for us as a brand, that's where I'm looking for the real racer, because we're investing. Even if it's a product discount, once again, it still costs me money. We're investing in you, and we need to know that we can count on you, because if the guy or gal next to you is having a problem, You can walk into the back door of their trailer. I can't. You can walk into the back door of the trailer and you could say, I don't have that problem because, it might be because I'm using Redline oil, or here's the rear end grease I'm using, or here's a tranny fluid I'm using, or whatever. You ought to give that a try and maybe your problem will go away. They can have the conversations that we can't have because real knows real. A real racer knows that. A real racer is telling them that.
And I think
So,
it's important for those trannies to use the rear end grease, honestly. So
so it's just, yeah.
sorry.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Listen, last words of advice. We got 1 minute. And then I appreciate everything. All the panelists on the call today. I think we've done an outstanding job. I'm going to talk about my membership for 1 second at the very end, but last words of advice.
Work hard, don't give up. If you come at any of us the first time, maybe it doesn't work the first time, but listen to what Alex is teaching you, listen to what the other people are telling you. And if you have to tweak your approach, if you have to tweak anything that you have going on, just don't give up. If it's your dream, if it's your passion, if it's real, then do it. It'll work out.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate it.